Hello my strong friends. Today, pretty straightforward video. I'm gonna talk about taking care of your hands as a lifter, as a power lifter mostly. I'm a power lifter, so it's gonna be from the perspective of a power lifter. Now, if you're a weightlifter or a CrossFitter, I think you can still find value from this. I did learn most of the things that I know from hand care when I was doing CrossFit, and I experienced a few rips in my hand just from like cranking on a pull-up bar, doing hundreds of pull-ups. I feel like hand care is probably the easiest thing that you can take care of. It's hard to get strong, it's hard to lift every day, it's hard to eat well. It's super easy to take care of your hands. If your hands are not taken care of, you could experience a pretty nasty rip, and that could mean just uncomfortable training. That could mean training to where you're focused on your hands, which is the last thing you should be worried about. It could mean no training. So make sure you're taking care of these. If you start to see that your hands are callousing over, it's important that you know what to do next. It's a good thing when you start to build up some calluses, but you don't want them to get too gnarly. So the first thing is super easy. You just want to wash your hands after you have a ton of chalk on them. After training, you get chalk everywhere and they dry out, which is why our skin starts to maybe crack or it starts to pinch. Now you don't want super soft hands. Like, I'm not telling you to go get a manicure every weekend. Make sure that you're at least washing the chalk out after your training sessions so that you're not like walking around all day with chalk on your hands. That would be kind of crazy. So let's show you my hands first. Okay, so here's my hand. And you can see I have calluses everywhere on the joint. The hardest ones are here on the pinky, and I'm gonna shave that down because it's raising a little bit, and on the ring finger. I also have little hard spots, like kind of baby calluses here on the top of these knuckles, and it's definitely a little bit harder here. Just overall, my hands are not the sexiest girl hands that one can have. I always say that if you want a terrible hand job, find a girl who lifts. The idea is you want to have calluses that are built up enough to where they're not so soft, but you also don't want them too crazy. And you want to make the surface of your hands nice and even. You can see on my pinky joint, that little part is raised. Not a terrible thing, but I could probably just like grab onto this, and like sometimes I pick at my calluses, which is not the best thing. If you have a ton of skin that is pinched and raised, that can be really bad whenever you start holding a barbell. Can we show them your hands, babe?
No.
Aw.
Am I bad?
Yeah, let's show them.
Well, I don't lift.
I'm gonna show you guys Ryan's hands as he's helping me record this.
I'll try to make them worse.
His are really bad.
I'll make them.
Those are pretty bad, babe. But Ryan's also a weightlifter, so his are worse off.
These get really bad in here.
Yeah, and weightlifters also experience this kind of hook dryness that's really gross. It's from holding the barbell, but also probably has to do with you taping your hands and then not taking care of them.
Well, no, it's less so that. This part gets bad because when you hook up a bar, you want to wrap your thumb as far over as you can, which means you're actually tucking your skin under the bar. And when you wrap it around, also weightlifting bars tend to be more aggressive knurling anyways. Usually.
More aggressive knurling, yeah.
Than a like commercial gym bar.
Yeah. So, don't make your hands look like Ryan's. Make your hands look like Meg's. So now we're gonna talk about kind of my little jacked up little tiny piece. My hands are perfect, what can I say? What do you do when you start to have raised calluses? Like I said, you don't want them to be too calloused over, so if you find that your hands are really bumpy, you wanna try and prevent that. And the idea is they're gonna be you're gonna feel a little bit of a bump there always, but you want to try and make the skin as smooth as possible so it never catches, it never pinches and rips. I learned this when I was doing CrossFit, and it was this is what I preferred to do. What I do is, and some people will tell you not to do this, there's a great video by Donnie Schenkel who talks about hand care, and he also, for my weightlifters and CrossFitters, he also talks about the things that you can do to use tape to help your hands out when they're ripped. I'm not gonna go over that because powerlifters probably won't need that. So, but check out that video. It's gonna be linked in the description below, as well as some other resources I found when I was doing other research. I use a single blade razor I use a razor. And Donnie Schenkel suggests not to do this. He uses a pumice stone. While I respect the man, I disagree with that. I don't suggest using a pumice stone or some kind of like callus remover that's like for your feet or something, because what happens is you start to shave away, yes, the raised parts of your hand, but then you start to wear down on the soft skin. It would be pretty terrible if you have this hard skin that you're wearing down and it's nice, but also you're starting to rip that soft skin that doesn't need any help anyway. What I use is a single blade razor, and usually it's pretty difficult to find single blade razors. You can only usually find them in like a pack of 10, because who buys single blade razors anymore? Now make sure it's a single blade, one blade. You only want to just like very lightly just drag it across the raised skin, and I'm not like digging in and shaving my hand off. I'm just dragging it across the raised skin, and what's happening is it's starting to catch on it and just it shaves off like a tiny bit at a time. I'll just kind of like wipe very lightly. I'm not putting any pressure on the razor, but I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but some of the dead skin and some of the raised skin is starting to shave off. Now, since I'm just not putting any pressure, it's only catching on the raised parts of my hand. So that's why I prefer using a single blade razor, and I don't really much like using a pumice stone. I feel like it wears down the soft parts of your hands, and we don't want that. So yeah, now that little raised part is starting to come off, and you'll notice my callus is starting to become a little bit more even. Now you don't want to go nuts. You just want to make sure the skin is no longer has any kind of skin hanging off, skin that can pinch on the barbell. You just want to make it so that it's, how do beauty gurus do this thing? So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I'm gonna do the other side. This is where the actual bad part was. And I'm just gently shaving it off. Now, it is a razor blade, so some people call this dangerous. That is Donnie Schenkel's warning for sure. And I think if you go crazy and use like kind of like a Mach 3 where you have a ton of razor blades, that would be the worst thing you can do. So just make sure you find a single blade razor. Just kidding. Now that you got your calluses shaved down nice and even, now don't take your entire callus off, don't go nuts. Just take the very top layer that's hanging off of your skin that's raised only. Now you only, like, I mean, if you're here all day doing this, probably spend like 30 seconds just dragging it across. Don't go nuts and wipe all your skin off. So that's the shave down part. Next, we'll talk about the hand care and what to put on your hands. You wanna stay away from like creamy lotions. Those aren't gonna help you out too much. You want something more like a hand salve or like a gel that you can put on your hands. I like to use like a foot gel or something, or even hand salve. I'm using now this Comedis foot gel here, and you can see the consistency of this is like, you can see how it's a gel and not a creamy lotion. This is what you want to be looking for. The gel is cool because I find that the wax sometimes will be like too greasy almost. The gel, you can take like just a tiny bit. Obviously you can add more if you need it, and you just wanna put this on the hand. You see I put it only on my callus parts. I can also put it here on my kind of harder parts, just to get some moisturizer and rub it together a tiny bit, and you just rub it in. This is made for dry feet, but you'll find that your hands will no longer feel like hands in these kind of callus parts. They'll have more of the like skin texture and hardness that the bottom of your feet do. So, you know, you still don't want the bottom of your feet to be crusty, and you definitely don't want these parts to be dry at all. You wanna make sure that you're taking care of those. Unfortunately, since the like texture and the dent, like your hands are now harder. Most lotions and like creamy lotions that are meant for hand lotions don't tend to work for your calloused parts. So this is made for like severely dry skin, and this will moisturize and also just take care of your hands, because you want to keep the hardness and the texture of your skin, but you don't want it to crack. So you still do need to moisturize. So Comedis is doctor recommended and recommended by dermatologists. So this will be really great for taking care of your calluses and making sure they're in tip-top shape. Yeah, that's gonna be the end of this video, you guys. I hope you learned something new about taking care of your hands. Make sure that they're in the safe zone. Also, check out Comedis if you need to find some kind of hand gel or something that can work for your new weird skin that you have. Thanks to Comedis again for sponsoring this video and making it possible for me to continue making cool shit. I appreciate it. I'm gonna have their information in the description below, so you guys can check that out. And yeah, only other thing you need to buy are these, which will be super cheap. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you have any other hand care tips, leave those. And there's also tons of resources in the description that you can check out and learn like kind of what works for you. Like I said, Donnie Schenkel's video has some good info on also using tape to protect your hands. I think that's definitely better for weightlifters or CrossFitters or gymnasts even. For powerlifting specifically, I find that using straps helps a lot. My grip is probably, has never failed me, so I rarely have problems with dropping the bar. But when I'm doing a lot of volume deadlifts, so if I'm doing a rep out set, which I do every deadlift day, if I'm feeling good, I will use straps. Now, try not to lean on using straps because you obviously can't use them in a meet, but if you use straps just to protect your hands, that will be something good to incorporate into your lifting. Also, if you're not competing, just use straps whenever you feel like it. I think it's important to always have a strong grip just for life strength, so that you can hold on to things. You never know when you're gonna need to hold on to something to save your life. That's all for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. So as you guys know, we always feature a strong friend at the end of every video. So today's strong friend is our buddy Amber. She's been crushing her program and has like improved so much. Amber started with us in October of 2016, and when she started, she was squatting 205 for 5, and she recently retested and hit a 270 squat, which is unbelievable. She also hit a 165 bench recently. When she started, her deadlift was 225 for 3 reps, and now she is now in the 300 club, which I'm super proud of. She's prepping for a meet in March, and we're really excited to help her know what it's like to compete. We're working with Amber one-on-one. So if you guys ever want to check out our programs online, they're on strongfriends.com, and you can check out and see if something works for you. Thank you to Amber for being super strong and for hanging out with me when I was in Portland. I loved getting to know you and seeing you in person, and keep being strong. Good luck on your meet. March 18th, we're coming. USAPL, she's gonna be a 63 kilo lifter, and she was like cutting that entire time, which is just, how are people so strong? I don't get it. Just kidding, I know how she got strong. Super hard work and some smart programming. All right guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.